City Council will meet on Thursday, November 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. remotely to hold its regular meeting for the purpose of discussing any and all business pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law 30A-20, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. The meeting of the Salem City Council will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by the members of the public and or parties with the right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the city's website, www.salem.com. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the city's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch, listen, or provide comment, if applicable, during the meeting may do so in the following manner: clicking the link on the webinar that's on the city's website and using the password 103366. And once again, clicking that same on Zoom, clicking that same link and entering the ID number 879-9916-9404 and using the same password. Or you may call in using a toll-free number at 877-853-5257. This meeting is also live on SATV Channel 22. It's actually being live streamed on Facebook as well. Members of the public wishing to speak on the agenda must follow the how to sign up for public testimony outlined in the agenda below. Members of the public wishing to speak during the hearings designated as public hearings may do so by following the how to participate as noted above. Regular meeting of the City Council is being held remotely on Thursday, November 19, 2020, 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on November 17, 2020, 9:04 a.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Currently, all councilors are present. Council President McCarthy presided. Councilor Prosnewski moved to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. President McCarthy now requests that everyone please rise to pledge allegiance and join Councilor Dominguez.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
Republic, which stands one nation,
under God, indivisible, justice and liberty for all.
Justice for all.
Thank you. Public testimony. We have one member of the public which wishes to testify this evening. It's Mr. Kapantis. So, Madam City Clerk, if you could please, would you unmute Mr. Kapantis?
Will do. Mr. Kapantis, I'm allowing you to speak. So when you can unmute yourself and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. Steve Kapantis, 23A Wisteria Street, Salem, Mass. I'd like to provide a few comments regarding the $16.1 million bond for park improvements. I'm happy to hear that Salem is investing in our parks. I'm excited to see the specific details when this is sent to subcommittee, and I am hopeful that it includes a maintenance plan for our parks. However, what I find concerning is that there is no mention of the ADA compliance in this communication from the mayor to the council. You might claim that it is implied. However, based on our history, this will not be the first time that the city has spent significant amounts of money to make major improvements at parks and fell short of meeting ADA compliance. Two recent examples of many are Furlong Park and McGrath Fields and Playgrounds. It has been almost a year since the city received the ADA transition plan. Yet the long list of items has yet to be prioritized. Labor costs have not been assigned, and work has not been scheduled, leaving us with no plan in place nearly a year later. Although some of the items on the list has been completed, this work was not part of a plan to achieve compliance, but rather work that was already scheduled. In addition, after asking the mayor on multiple occasions to submit a resolution stating that the city would make ADA compliance a priority and would move forward with scheduling and completing the ADA transition plan, she finally agreed. That was 4.5 months ago, and still no resolution has been put forward. ADA compliance at our parks has been and continues to be an afterthought in the city of Salem. I have asked this council in the past to please keep ADA compliance on the front burner and in all your city communications. Many of the councilors have taken the time to meet with me at parks, playgrounds, or on Zoom meetings to discuss what is needed. I know that you are working on it. But by not mentioning ADA compliance regarding our parks in this communication makes it perfectly clear that ADA compliance is still not a priority for this current administration. Otherwise, it would have clearly been stated in this summary. I have assumed that this will be sent to committee, and I look forward to seeing the details of this plan and hope in committee that ADA compliance and appropriate funding will be mandatory. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no one else, correct, Madam City Clerk?
Correct.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn has his hand up. I'm sorry, Councilor.
Thank you. I'd like a point of personal privilege.
Councilor Flynn asked for a moment of personal privilege. Received no objection. Councilor Flynn.
I'd just like to ask for a moment of silence for someone that was near and dear to many of us in the Salem, the beloved wife of Lenny O'Leary. Mary O'Leary was lifelong resident of Salem, long-time resident of Ward 4. And as everyone knows, I want to thank her for sharing Lenny with all of us all those years and serving the city of Salem. She was always right beside him. She was the love of his life, and I'm sure they're walking in heaven together now, looking down upon all of us. I also want to say how sorry I am for the O'Leary and the Kidney families, especially Maureen Fisher, our assistant city clerk, who was so close to her that she referred to her as sister, as many people did. A wonderful lady, and I can't say enough how sorry I am for this loss, and to God bless her and Maureen as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Let's see. Sorry, I muted myself. Flip that. Hearings, none. Appointments and reappointments.
We have a mayor's appointment of Ezekiel Holt to the Commission on Disabilities with a term to expire November 15th, 2021.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move this be held under the rules.
Council Terrio moves this be held under the rules. All those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect this. 10 hands plus my own. Matter is held. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's appointment of Kate Zarad to the Commission on Disabilities with a term to expire November 19th, 2023.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be held under the rules.
Council Madore moves this matter be held under the rules. Seeing no objection.
No.
All those in favor of holding under the rules? Let the record reflect this. 10 hands plus my own. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have the mayor's reappointment of Sue Kirby to the Salem Housing Authority as a tenant member with a term to expire March 1st, 2025.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be confirmed by roll call vote.
Council Madore moves that that Ms. Kirby be confirmed by roll call vote. Under discussion, Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to thank Ms. Kirby for continuing to serve and for her service thus far.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnowski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the mayor's reappointment of Sue Kirby to the Salem Housing Authority, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. The mayor just got off a phone call and has joined us. Could someone move to take out of order communications from the
So
mayor?
moved.
So moved. If we could go to page, what page is it? Mayor's information, page 12.
Great, thank you.
Hold on one second, Mayor.
Yep, sorry.
Madam City Clerk, can we read that?
We have the communication from the mayor to address the city council relative to an update on the city's response to COVID-19.
Council Flynn.
Thank you, Council President. I move this is received and filed.
Council Flynn moves this to be received and filed. All those in favor? All those opposed? Let the record reflect. Matter carries. With that, Mayor Driscoll, please, if you could please update us on what's going on.
Absolutely, thanks for the opportunity to come before you briefly. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. It might just be easier to go through some of the most recent updates using some slides. So just bear with me here. Okay. So everybody can see that, I hope?
Yep.
Great, perfect. So again, appreciate the chance to give you a snapshot into where things stand at present. I wish, in fact, we weren't going in the direction we are with respect to new case counts, but I think it's important that we share information about what things are happening in our community so we can try and impact behavior here to start bringing these numbers back down. This is the most recent data we have. I think, as you know, DPH issues new updates for the last 14-day period, or for the most recent 14-day period that they calculate on Thursdays. And so our case counts continue to go up. We're now at 4.09% positivity rate. That is an increase from our last week. And we are averaging right now over 41 cases on a daily basis. This is based on, obviously, per 100,000 residents in this 2-week period of time. It's definitely troubling to us. We're seeing our case rates reflected across Massachusetts, where we're seeing upticks as well. And we continue to monitor these things on a daily basis to give us the best understanding possible as to what behaviors are contributing to this. This gives you an idea of a snapshot of what we're seeing for new case counts, and the trend lines indicate we're closer to where we were in the spring. And obviously some of that was during lockdown periods of time. So we know there's prevalence within our community, and we have seen an uptick, not only in case counts, but we have in the last 6 weeks had an additional 5 residents pass away. So of concern to us always are the number of people, the prevalence within our community, and then how quickly people are recovering. Another way to look at this, again, you can see this trend line right now outpacing briefly Massachusetts. The most frustrating part of this is really trying to understand what specific activities are contributing to the new case counts. And it's slices of different things that we see happening here. Primarily, it's informal gatherings and household contacts. So if a member of the family comes down positive, what we're seeing is 2 weeks later or a week later, another member of the family comes down positive, another member of the family the next week. So it's running through households. Some of the information we're trying to share with folks are, if you are positive, the ability to quarantine within your own house, like taking a section of an area and really not trying to mix. It's really difficult to do depending upon your living circumstances and the number of individuals. But we are seeing a fair amount of household contacts contributing to spread, along with the informal gatherings, not large super spreader events that we know people shouldn't be going to, but smaller events, gatherings after a funeral, going to watch a football game together. We had some events on Halloween night, like tied to gatherings of individuals who might be small in number. And some of the typical behavior is small, indoors, no masks, and usually eating or drinking together, right? So all it takes is one person who may be asymptomatic. We know there's a large percentage, anywhere between 30 and 45% of individuals who don't have any symptoms are asymptomatic and are highly contagious. And so contributing to that is you're feeling good and you get together with friends, and from there, several people come down with COVID afterwards. So again, trying to remind people to limit those gatherings, wear those masks, even indoors, especially if you're not with people who you're not living with, who are not part of your household. We want that trend line to go back down. It's looking closer to what we saw in the April area, and that's when we were at the height of things then. COVID patients at Salem Hospital. I think the good news in comparison to the spring to now, when we talk to hospital officials and public health officials, we're not in the same level of care situation within hospitals. We're not overwhelming our hospitals yet. We certainly don't want to do that. But in the spring, when we had the case counts that are similar to now, there was a great many people in the hospital, much more hospitalization rates, many more people on vents. Today, we've got 32 people at Salem Hospital, North Shore Medical Center with COVID. 2 are in ICU. Last week, I think it was 25 and 5. So the numbers are definitely up. 3 weeks ago, it was less than double digits. So it's trending the wrong way, but we're not in a position yet, and hopefully we aren't heading there, of overwhelming the hospital. Those of you who may have listened in on the COVID update we did with Dr. Roberts last week, he talked about, one, the hospitals being better prepared. They've learned a lot in terms of how to treat COVID, and that's been all beneficial to sort of keeping those case counts down and leading to better recoveries. But it certainly is up in terms of where we were just 3 weeks ago, and you can see those numbers. Again, percent positives, that this is the number that we really pay a lot of attention to, along with new case counts. You don't want to see prevalence in your community. Thankfully, again, we're nowhere near where we were in the spring, where we were in double digits in some of those days in terms of percent positives. We're not there, but we're definitely trending in the wrong direction. If a community hits 5% and has new case counts at a certain tally where we are at, you would be a community in a red. As of today, we are still in the yellow. But if we continue at this trend, we certainly could be what's considered a red community. There are red communities around us now, even with these new case counts as of today. I believe Saugus, Peabody, a number of other places within Essex County are red. And I think that's, one of the things we talk about regionally is the virus doesn't know borders. So we're not only trying to harness our information, but we're trying to work with officials in surrounding communities so we can look at percent positive cases, do contact tracing, and look at that information through a regional lens. Particularly with Lynn, Salem, and Peabody, we know we share a hospital system and that we know people are in each other's backyards all the time. So developing trends is not just looking at our own Salem data about where people are contracting the illness or where they may have, right, based on contact tracing, but also looking at what's happening around the region. We have plenty of people who live in Lynn or Peabody but work here and vice versa. And so we want to put a regional lens to this effort. We're working with DPH and with our own public health officials to try and do that in a more definitive way. Right now, it's done more anecdotally than actually a shared data set, and that's our goal. So just some of the actions that we've been taking, some of which I think you're very familiar with. Source surveillance is starting up. That's going to be, we were doing this at the beginning of the virus in a large pool setting. These are going to be more targeted. We'll have a half a dozen sampling locations within the community that will give us an idea of if there's prevalence in that particular area. This is a targeted intervention campaign effort. So if we do see an increase in or a prevalence of COVID within the wastewater sampling, we can then target the folks living in that particular area to let them know we've got some positive test cases. These are the action steps you can take, meaning to go get tested. We are working hard to bring pool testing into our schools. That would also likely involve city and public safety employees. This is a more affordable but still not inexpensive testing model. It can be either saliva or the nasal swab that would pool the number of tests that you're, pool the number of samples so that the testing costs come down. We're hoping to be able to do that on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And it's one of our goals, as I think you know, is to keep kids in school. We did start school this week on Monday for pre-K through second grade. They're in school 5 days a week, and then sixth graders and ninth graders are on a hybrid model where they're in school 2 days a week. Our goal is to bring back the other grades in January, sooner if we could, but January is the date the school committee just talked about on Monday. We know the importance of students being in person as much as they can. And more importantly, we're not seeing spread occurring in schools, not only here, but at other places where students are participating in in-person learning or a hybrid format. And that will definitely be necessary for us in order to achieve the distancing that we need. And we also know just the the damage being done to students from a social and emotional perspective of not being in school for this long. So our goal is still to keep moving ahead. All of our buildings have been, air handling systems have been checked and worked on and brought up to standards. And we're really hopeful we can keep kids that are in school now, keep that in place, and then move towards bringing others back in January. The testing is going well here. We have a ton of people who are doing testing. Our goal is to try and increase the number of testing sites in Salem, specifically for Salem residents. So we're looking at more neighborhood PCR tests, places that you could go at different days of the week. And these would be for Salem residents only because the city would be footing the bill for these. And these would be opportunities to use the same process, the nasal swab, same testing resulting agency, the Broad Institute, turnaround test pretty quickly, but to try and thin some of the lines. As more communities are in the red around us, the Stop the Spread sites at Old Town Hall and Salem High, the lines and the waits are getting longer, and larger percentages of folks are coming from outside the community, which is fine. They're state paid for, but it is impacting our ability to really get folks tested twice per month, which is still our goal. So those should be stood up. We hope actually as soon as this week, the week coming up. One of the big concerns we have as we head into the holidays is that all of the testing sites are just getting overrun. The tsunami of folks trying to get tested before they're with relatives or are coming home perhaps for the holidays. And so we're trying to stand up some additional testing sites and also extend the hours at the high school and Old Town Hall next week. So look for that information. We're hoping to finalize that maybe even tonight with our alternative provider. And one of the sites we're looking at for this immediate thing, Councilor McCarthy, I haven't even had a chance to talk with you about, it's using the Willows to enable an opportunity for queuing up of cars. Again, this one would be a Salem resident only test. A couple of other items on this list. We are planning on doing outreach to all of the seniors in Salem. They'll have door hangers that remind folks who may be visiting a senior that they need to have a mask on, that this is a higher risk population. There'll also be some masks going to seniors in case they need them or anybody who's coming to visit them needs them. We definitely are working hard to expand this public health awareness campaign relative to both wearing masks. So the signage that's up, we're doing a sign audit. We know a lot of the signs have gotten blown down or have been damaged. They've been up for a number of months now. So you'll see new signs going up, and really trying to reach out to younger folks. The new case counts, the largest majority are folks under the age of 39. So we want to target different populations, including young adolescents as well, about the benefits of not gathering. As difficult as it is, when you're in these informal gatherings, you could be contributing to spread in our community. We are working to stand up a local homeless quarantine site. This again would not be for individuals who are positive, but for individuals who may have been in close contact with somebody who's positive, and so they need to isolate from the rest of the population. That should be up and running, we hope, by mid-December. We're working in cooperation with LifeBridge. This is not a regional high school site. This will be a local site that LifeBridge will operate in cooperation with the Christopher Columbus Club. We have worked to make sure we have adequate PPE and sanitizer. Another difference from the spring and now is these supplies are available. We've got some stockpiles. We feel well prepared there. We have retained some additional public health nursing staff. Anytime you've seen the increase in the number of cases, it does require a tremendous amount of work from our own public health staff, as well as from extra utilization of the collaborative, the contact tracing collaborative the state has stood up to make sure we're getting to people in a quick turnaround. The Maven system will notify our public nursing staff when there's a positive case of a Salem resident, and our goal is to really make contact within 24 hours of that individual, of us being notified of a positive case, so we can make sure that individual knows they need to quarantine, find out if they need any assistance, and work to then contact their close contacts to inform them that they need to both get tested and get quarantined. We are working as part of our Economic Development Recovery Task Force on a number of business support programs. We have, the licensing board recently approved suspending any license renewal fees this year. We're working on technical assistance for businesses. And I know the planning office is working hard with the Economic Development Administration in the hopes of gaining some additional dollars that can also provide support for businesses. Smaller things as well. Curbside pickup spaces are going to be back as folks are pivoting to more of an online and takeout business. We have reactivated the Salem Together volunteers. As you know, we had hundreds of volunteers signed up to help out, everything from picking up groceries for somebody, picking up prescription medicines, any sorts of tasks that individuals needed some help with, particularly high-risk populations. We're, reactivating that group, making sure they know that we may need to put them into service and finding out who's still available to do that sort of work. And then we're getting ready for a vaccine distribution. There's been good news on that front. We want to think about how best we can work with our public health officials, our hospital, to ensure that we've got a distribution plan in place. So that work begins from a planning perspective. What we're asking residents to do is, again, really trying to hit hard that the gatherings are problematic. We have scaled back, the governor has scaled back opening hours. We really want to try and keep our schools operational. It's up to all of us to really, sacrifice a little bit of time with friends and family if they're not part of your household, and avoid those gatherings. Even the informal, let's watch a football game together, is leading to things like a spread. Baby reveal parties, going over your friend's house in another community, it's all leading to more spread, not just in Salem, but across our Commonwealth. The rules now require everyone to wear a mask in public anywhere. We've had good mask compliance downtown. We really need that to be extended to outside of the downtown. If you're out at a park, we've heard some complaints about the Common and some of our parks where people are doing things you do in parks, walk a dog, play games, but they're not always wearing a mask. So help, especially with young people, reminding them to wear a mask would be very helpful for us. And we're still advising folks to try and get tested twice per month. We are setting up the apparatus to make it easier to do that, but we are one of the few communities where you have free COVID testing 6 days a week. So we want people to take advantage of it. As you think about, we're heading into the winter, this idea of circulating air, indoors is really helpful. Any chance you can, open windows, utilizing air handling systems to push air around in your home is going to be helpful. Can be hard to do when it's colder out, but we do think it's an important aspect. As we know, the virus is aerosolized. And then we want everyone to support our small businesses. We've got a shop local campaign underway. I am shopping local tomorrow afternoon, visiting a number of our retail shops. We want people to know we actually have a lot of retail shops where you can contribute not only to helping a small business, but you can take a lot of things off your Christmas list. And we feel like a lot of people who live in Salem and in the region may not know what you actually can buy here. So we're going to spend some time trying to promote that and market it and hope that people will take advantage of that, as we're able to tell them about some of the really cool things you can buy. And then again, this other piece about isolating at home, we think it's important that if you are somebody who is positive and you have the means to separate yourself as much as you can from any other household members, it's really important. That aspect was one of the key areas we're seeing leading to increased case counts. And we think we can help. If you are somebody who is struggling to take on daily tasks, you still need food, you may still need to get kids to school or to have errands or things that need to get done. We do have folks who are volunteers and we probably can get you some help. So let us know if that's the reason that you need to go out. We want to try and make up those tasks for you or take on some of those needs. So I'm going to stop the share. Happy to answer questions that I can from counselors relative to the work that's underway for COVID or certainly any ideas or suggestions that folks have as we work through this together. This is, back again in the spring. It's our community versus the virus. It's going to take all of us, not just the city. It's going to take the efforts of a real sort of social compact approach to eradicating this virus, reducing the case counts, and putting us on the road that we want to be on, the road to recovery, the road to being able to be back with family and friends and to get our kids back in school for sure and stand up our businesses and some sense of normalcy. Councilor Prasky.
And then Council Flynn. Councilor Riccardi.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for the mayor. I think that there has to be a hats off to all the department heads and city workers who have strived so hard to keep Salem so safe, especially through the month of October. I think it's amazing that we've stayed yellow while everybody else around us has been red. It was very surprising to see because I wasn't very optimistic that we'd be that way, but that goes to show you the type of effort that was given by all in the city of Salem. So I think everybody should be patting themselves on the back that had any part of that. My question to you, Mayor, is about the vaccine distribution logistics. Has there been any talk about when, because we know that it's hopefully right around the corner, as how that's going to be done and where that's going to be done? Can you give us a little bit of insight as to what you've heard? Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. You know, a lot of that planning is just underway. I'll know more. I actually have a meeting tomorrow with healthcare professionals. That's one of the agenda items, so I'll have a better sense of their thinking. We know there'll be a hierarchy and it'll be a triage model. I just don't have all the details about how. We know from our experience with flu vaccines in terms of how we distribute that, it goes with the higher risk population. So we typically would be after medical professionals are taken care of and folks who are ill in the hospital. You're typically then going with seniors or anybody else that might fit that high risk category. And that's one of the, I mean, there's a lot of logistics in that go well beyond the city, but we want to be prepared to help in any way we can. And some of that will obviously depend on which vaccine, right? There are vaccines that have certain requirements, certain shelf lives, and that would change depending upon, our approach may change depending upon which vaccine is approved and which vaccine we're using. And there might be multiple vaccines. So we'll be working in concert with the healthcare institutions here in our community. But it is likely going to be a triage model, and we'll know more about our role in that as it proceeds and as we plan for it. And I will also just add, thank you for your comments about Halloween in October. You know, Halloween in October, as you know, is a complex, planning effort any time of the year, this year in particular. And it also, it felt very unusual to be telling people not to come to Salem and be telling people telling the MBTA we don't want trains when, as you know, we are normally telling people to come to Salem and by all means take the train. So we are hopeful that, this year can be made up for next year as we're in 2021. But it was a lot of work, and I'm really proud of the Public Safety Department, the Police Department, Public Services. It was a team effort for sure.
It was an effective strategy and it worked. So thank you for that.
You all set, Council?
Thank you. Yeah.
Council Riccardi, then Council Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few quick questions for you, Mayor. Thank you for that recap, and thank you also for everything that you helped spearhead to get us through October. Speaking of vaccines, this actually wasn't a question I had, but it popped up in my mind while we were talking about vaccines. I know the flu vaccine is also a very important one to have this season, and the schools have spearheaded a really big project to get all of our students vaccinated and to help with that. Is there any additional effort for residents and the flu vaccine in the city?
Yeah, we've already done a couple of flu clinics at the Community Life Center. We actually have adopted a drive-through model. So you get in your car, drive through, stick your arm out, we make sure it's you and you go. And we're looking to do more of those. We've actually found that between our own efforts and healthcare institutions and the pharmacies, there's a lot of flu vaccine that's already been distributed in our community. So, kudos. So many people realized who have never gotten the flu vaccine. This is probably the year to do that. We are working with the public health nurse and the Community Life Center, the COA, to make sure, in particular, vulnerable seniors that we're able to do that. We've given rides with the flu vaccine to folks who need it. So we're definitely here to serve the community, and we still have flu vaccine available. So if folks who may be listening or at home, if you need a flu shot, please reach out to public health officials. We can either provide you with one ourselves, find a way to get to you, or provide you with guidance to where to navigate flu vaccine that's here. Most of the flu vaccines in the pharmacies are free, so there's no shortage of vaccine, and we want to make sure everyone gets it. So we can help.
Thank you. Yeah. So similar to that thread, I spoke with actually 2 residents today that were having difficulties kind of quarantining from their family and also, getting errands done and things like that. So I love the idea that we still have Visit Salem Together. Is that the best resource for them to reach out to or ask for assistance?
Yes, definitely. Those emails are monitored. If you go to the website on salem.com/Salem Together. You can also just have them call my office, mayor@salem.com, via email. We can make sure we connect them, better understand what their needs are. We are trying to set up a one-stop shopping portal for food insecurity. There's a ton of housing assistance dollars as well for anyone who may be feeling threatened of eviction or even struggling with their mortgage payment. There are a number of resources, but the housing portal in particular, you really know how to navigate that. So we've worked with the Housing Authority to set up, sort of a one-stop portal for housing assistance, food insecurity. We're also getting a lot more calls around mental health, folks who really need mental health assistance, some support at all age levels. So this illness is taking a toll in lots of different ways. And we do have ways to help folks navigate some of those systems. We're at present working on sort of a one-button website that we can direct folks to. So if you need housing assistance, it's here. Food assistance, it's here to make it a little bit easier. Right now, we have a ton of information on salem.com/COVID, COVID-19, but it's more of a laundry list, right? So you have to know a little bit about what your needs are. We want to make it easier for people to navigate. But in the meantime, please, you can still use Salem Together, have them reach out to my office, and we'll make sure we connect with them to find out how we can be helpful.
Thank you. That's an excellent idea. I mean, it's just so much information overload right now. I think making that easy would be a huge, easy lift. And then I just have two more quick questions. Similar to the crowd tracker that I think worked really well in October, is there any sort of similar method for the COVID testing line that we could possibly do? At least the one downtown, I think, maybe to have some sort of idea, because I know that there's lots of, I've gone 3 times. One time I waited 20 minutes, one time I waited 2 hours, and one time it was kind of in the middle. So I don't know, or even like if there's like a daily, flow chart or status chart of how the wait times are, so people can kind of help plan with that. I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, we would love to do something like that. The sites aren't operated by us, so we're trying to figure that piece out. Either a Genius style, appointment system where you can sign up right there, or you can sign up in advance to regulate the lines. So far, the ambulance provider that we're working with through the Stop the Spread has not found a way to put that in place yet. They do pre-register people, but they don't do appointments. So we're still working through that, and there may be a workaround. It's a good, we use some of the mask ambassadors to help with line management. So there may be an opportunity for us to use that pool of individuals to also help us with just some, workaround, easy way to know what the wait times are. A website you can check, or a place that you can plug in. It won't be the same as an appointment system, but it will let you know. You don't have to feel like you hit the lottery when it's only a 20-minute wait.
Right, yeah, and that's great. And I did hear there was some positive feedback about the mask ambassadors helping with the wait line. So thank you for using that resource. And then my last question, it was really exciting to hear that there's going to be pool testing in schools. I think that would be a huge lift. And has it been talked about using that for other city employees or essential services that we have? I know there was an article in the newspaper today about other public services. And is it something that we have discussed using in other departments outside of schools as well?
Yeah, it's like literally coming together and should be hopefully finalized tomorrow. It would involve school employees, older high school age students who are in school. We've talked to the charter school about bringing them into that same collaborative, and then city employees. So it would be city employees, public safety employees, library employees, and we set up cohorts. So logistics are coming together quickly on that. We've been in discussions for about a week and a half and hope to finalize that. That's another call tomorrow afternoon. There's a couple of vendors. There's not very many vendors who do this at all. And one is a pooled saliva testing model. Another one is a pooled nasal swab. So we're looking at both of those and hope to finalize that tomorrow and then begin implementation as soon as the following week. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Council Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. This question is for the mayor. I had a concern regarding the testing up at the high school. As you're aware, the nights that they do it, they end at 8 o'clock. But unfortunately, because the lines are so big, they have to cut it off at an earlier time. I'm wondering if we should look into actually changing the time, maybe to 7 o'clock, but not turning anyone away. I could see people going up there at 7:30, getting turned away, and just not coming back due to frustration. If we say we're going to have a certain time, I think we should try to lock into that. So if we're thinking of the overflow traffic, maybe we should end it at 7:30 or 7, but that way there, no one gets turned away. If you're there before the time we set, you will get tested. I'm not sure if you've heard this from other residents or any complaints, but just like to know what you think of that on that topic.
Sure, yeah, I'll definitely bring that back. I think this last week in particular, we've seen a huge uptick. If it's tied to the holidays, that certainly is the thinking. But I'll bring that back to Dave Greenbaum, who's managing Fallon and the Stop the Spread testing, to see if he thinks that's a great idea. That way people aren't turned away. We're trying to maximize hours. We actually will be extending the hours for the next couple of days next week with the goal of trying to serve as many people as we can, knowing that there's an uptick in people looking for testing. But if we sort of have a false stop time, as long as we're not, limiting the number of testing, that's the goal. And I know it can be frustrating for people, either A, waiting in line, as Councilor Riccardi said, or getting turned away after you drove all the way there. So that's where the appointment model would just work so much better, right? You can pre-register, you can sort of fit yourself into an appointment time frame and make that work. But in the meantime, I'll bring that back to Mr. Greenbaum. It's a good suggestion.
All right, thank you. Like I said, I can understand if someone's coming past the end time, that's reasonable to say they wouldn't be able to get tested. But if they're there, before the time that, that they're informed and they drive all the way over there, you could understand people saying, you know what, I'm all set with this and don't come back another time. And I'd hate to lose that opportunity. Every single test is very important.
Yeah,
So, thank you.
Yep, we'll take a look at it for sure. I mean, I think I again want to just stress how fortunate we are to have 2 locations doing free testing 6 days a week.
Sure. Yeah.
There's no other community I think that has as well. I shouldn't say that. I think Lynn has a couple of sites as well, but we feel really fortunate that we're in that position. It is attracting other people over, Counselor, and that is one of the reasons that the lines are so long. So we'll see what we can do.
All right, thank you.
Councilor Dominguez, then Councilor Madore.
Mr. President, thank you, Mayor, for the information. My question is related to the positive level. I just hear in the news that New York closed, went back to virtual education because they hit the 3%. You mentioned that when we hit 5%, that's when we go to a party move. Who set that level? Because if we see some other different city with different level, who set that level? Is it nationwide, statewide, or local?
The 5% level is set by the Commonwealth, and so it's a statewide. The monitoring system, the colors, the yellow, the red, or the green, are set up by DPH, and it's a combination of factors. So percent positive is one of them, along with new case counts and hospitalization rates. Those are the things that contribute to what color you could be. In New York, I believe the mayor there indicated that if they hit 3%, they would go remote, which is a pretty low standard across the nation. I think it may be the lowest in the country right now. And so their schools have gone remote. And I think there's a lot of concern that your kids are being home, but you still have bars and gyms and restaurants open. Our goal is to keep kids in school. So far, we have not seen schools be the spreader, have not been the source of virus transmission that people originally thought they may have been. I think the other component to that is when we are seeing students that are positive, it's either tied to somebody in their household being positive or activities that are taking place outside of school. So teenagers driving around in a car together, nobody's wearing a mask, or hanging out, doing what teenagers do, spending time with each other, and that may be considering it if it's not necessarily happening in schools based on what we know, and it's not a perfect data set. But I think we're also well aware of the impact to students, particularly the younger students who learning through a virtual platform is really, really a challenge. And so we're trying to focus on that age group. That's why they're in first, that cohort. And then hopefully, as we move into the calendar year, bringing back other students. Right now in Massachusetts, even if you're a red community, you are not required to cancel school. There's no requirement. The governor has left that up more as a local decision. And I think we're trying to monitor our data and understand if we feel like there's transmission and spread happening in schools, we would certainly want to act and be aware of that. We monitor case counts on a daily basis in Salem. Like we really want to understand what's happening and not be caught flat-footed if you can be, given the spread of this virus.
Again, my second question is related to the resources available for cities and towns. How are we doing in that regard? I know that at the beginning you touched that aspect, but myself haven't heard anything. Is there any way or any possibility that you want to address not only us as a city council, but the city on any funds or any resources receiving from federal, if you have,
sure,
eventually, and how these cities allocate those funds? I mean, just for the purpose of knowledge on the general public, so they know exactly what's going on and what to expect. Because I know that right after the pandemic, we're gonna hit maybe an economic pandemic, which everyone is waiting, and we wanted to make sure that our city economic financial health is in place. So, is there any way that you can elaborate a little bit more on that, please?
Sure. And I owe you a presentation. I said I would be in. I'll try and do it for your December meeting. An update as to, I think it was Councilor Madore who asked about, what are we spending on? What are some of the resources? We are eligible for some CARES Act funding. It's based on a reimbursement model. It's part of the federal government's package that flows through the state to cities and towns. There are strict requirements around what you can spend on. That includes COVID-related expenditures. It cannot be used to replace any lost revenues that you may have had in your revenue stream. And there's a strict timeline, and it's only spent expenditures through March 27th to December 30th. So programs after December 30th or services received after that are not eligible. Capital costs are not eligible. There's a long list of things that are not eligible, but testing is. Signage, public health signage, public health personnel that you need to help manage your COVID response, things like that are. Small business assistance, some small business assistance falls into the category, but most of it doesn't. Housing assistance is a component, and most of the programs that you've seen us operating fall within COVID CARES Act funding needs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the mayor. Thank you for all the work that you've done so far. I had a question from a constituent about extending testing hours specifically at Old Town Hall. I think currently only one day, one evening out of the week is offered for testing hours. And you just mentioned that you're expanding testing. I was wondering if that's one of the locations where additional evening hours would be offered.
It's likely not going to be at Old Town Hall beyond what there currently is. We're trying to come up with a couple of models that might actually bring testing more mobile to make it easier for people in different neighborhoods to access it. And also hopefully thin out the pool because it would only be eligible for Salem residents. And those plans are coming together now. We know that we're looking at for next week, just with this tsunami of testing coming, looking at putting in additional hours. You might see some next week temporarily, and it's just sort of the ahead of Thanksgiving planning model. And then we're also looking at setting up a 2 or 3 day test site, again, only for Salem residents at the Willows as a means to allow folks to get tested who are from Salem, who are looking to do so before the holidays. And then additional testing throughout the month of December, but more in a mobile fashion, Councilor.
Thank you. I would second Councilor McCarty's comment about the ambassadors. I was just at the Old Town Hall testing site yesterday to get tested myself, and it was really helpful to have an ambassador remind folks they can pre-register. And I know they were talking about waiting times, and wonder if it's just as straightforward as having the ambassador there to monitor the waiting times and upload it to social media through the city's account. Because I think there's a lot of people tracking waiting times, and through neighborhood groups or private groups say, hey, I was just there, the wait time was an hour, and then people will start going. I mean, it could have a backfiring effect, but I think having an ambassador there was really helpful, and she was very helpful to everybody. So that hope you'll consider that. And then my final question about the signs. I know you mentioned that you're doing a sign audit and possibly replacing them, and I wonder if the signs would be different given now that the mass order is everywhere instead of just the zones that we designated for downtown.
I think we're probably going to stick with the yellow and black signs that you may have seen on signposts. One, they're visible. Two, they're consistent. And the yard signs aren't going to make it through the winter. So we're also trying to think about what's functional throughout the winter.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Council Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the mayor. Good information, Mayor. Thank you. Can you just remind the public where this information will be posted on the city's website so people can take a look at it? And also a follow-up to the good Councilor Prosnusi's question earlier on the vaccine distribution that's coming. In your discussions with or through our health agents, discussions with the state. We clearly need to target our senior citizens, and I think doing so where they live to make it more convenient, rather than having them go to Old Town Hall or somewhere else. So the Brook House, Bertram House, Advinicare in Ward 7, the Housing Authority. But separate from those are the common ones, but we have hundreds of residents living at places like the Village of Vinton Square. Excuse me, hundreds of seniors living at places like the Village of Vinton Square. Maybe Loring Towers, where it's difficult for some people to get around. Just a few, and these type of sites are scattered around the city, but there's not a whole lot of them. Perhaps we can do the vaccine distribution right there at their facilities, at their clubhouse, or someplace that is convenient. Do a one-day shop at those places. So I ask that you just please bring that forward to the state officials on the distribution.
Sure, thank you, Councilor. I know we've done a number of mobile testing, COVID testing dates at all of those facilities. Maybe not Vinton Square, but like Loring Towers, Pequot, recognizing that, you know, not everyone has transportation or the opportunity to even to wait the longer periods of time. So the mobile options are certainly on our mind. We've done some mobile flu clinics as well, so those are good suggestions. I'll certainly bring those back for sure. And all of the information, I hope you guys are aware of it, are at salem.com/COVID. We post regular updates on all of our data, resources that are available, whether it's small business grants, rental assistance grants, opportunities for technical assistance from folks. We've tried to make that kind of a landing site for all of the resources. You'll find the EDRR newsletters there. So it does end up being a bit of a laundry list, and that's why we're looking at sort of having an easier way to navigate. But there is a ton of information there. I think the community are, you know, we're so fortunate that we have some great partners to leverage, but we've really tried to, you know, stockpile information so people don't have to look too hard for it, and it's available, and it's regularly updated with COVID numbers and messages. So salem.com/COVID.
Anyone else?
If there's nothing else on COVID,
thank you, Mayor.
Councilor McCarthy, if there's nothing else on COVID, I would just like to make a quick commercial for the Signature Parks Initiative that was filed before you. I suspect that will be going into a committee, and we're looking forward to really talking about and hopefully gaining support for a major investment in these mostly waterfront gems, Winter Island, the Willows, Forest River, Palmer Cove, Salem Common, these citywide green spaces, Forest River as well, if I left them off, citywide green spaces that we know are gathering places. And, you know, we didn't need COVID to recognize it, but certainly this summer we saw many of our waterfront outdoor recreational areas utilized to the highest degree. So we hope we can count on everyone's support for making major investments, putting us in a position for 2026 to, you know, celebrate the next generation with these beautiful green spaces. And we're looking forward to talking more about that, but just wanted to say how important that project is. We talked about it for a long while. COVID certainly slowed it down and changed how we're funding it, but we're really hopeful that we can gain support to move things forward there. So some great opportunities for us, for sure.
Thank you. No one else? Well, once again, thank you, Mayor.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night. And if I don't see everyone before the holiday, please have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Okay, take care.
You too, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to return to the regular portion of the meeting, page 6.
So moved.
Moved, thank you so much. There we go, right on cue. Communications from the mayor.
We have a bond order in the sum of $16,100,000 to be appropriated to pay costs for a Signature Park improvement program.
Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrell moves for suspension of rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. My motion on this is for adoption for first passage by roll call vote with a referral to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Co-posted.
Co-posted.
Thank you. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, the mayor just addressed this briefly, and I do think it warrants more discussion. There are a lot more details to plans than what we have here. And this does, you know, this funding request does not cover all the specific designs of all the projects that are in the planning and or development process. And part of that is because this is a bonding request that is intended to extend roughly over the next 5 to 6 years. The intent behind this is to basically lock in the current ridiculously low bonding rates, so that as we need to bring in funds, we're doing so at an extremely low rate, and that really helps our city with its overall debt load. And this, combined with the other funding sources that are identified in our documentation, is key to doing an overhaul of the vast majority of the city's major parks. The biggest single portion of this is Forest River. I know Jenna Ide is watching us right now and could potentially come in to speak to this a little bit. But just as for instance, at our last meeting, we approved the funding for demolition and remediation that's going on at Forest River for the park, for the pool. That's just begun this week, actually. And we have the opportunity between construction and funding to, if we can move this forward, we might be able to, I won't say might, but there's a pretty good chance that we will be able to have this pool open at some point during the 2021 season, after over 3 years of being shut down. So there's a lot of opportunity to move forward. There's a lot of major projects here that we're looking to overall put within this single umbrella and be able to take care of all the renovations that we're looking at pretty much all the major parks around the city. So, this is a real positive, and I'm looking forward to being able to hold a committee meeting to do a lot more specific discussion, but I think this is something that probably virtually all of us support to see, these level of improvements. So with that, I'll take other comments and or questions.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the good Ward 5 councilor. I just want to, I know there's a lot more specifics to this that like you said, we're going to go into, but since Mr. Kapanis did bring up about the ADA and us kind of falling behind on that, do you know offhand, or is Jenna willing to answer a question? Is there an ADA component to this investment of $16 million that we're doing to these parks? Do you know offhand, or Jenna?
Well, I can address this briefly. This order itself doesn't contain our ADA funding or our ADA plans, because this isn't the detailed plans for every renovation. All the parks in their planning process do have ADA accommodations being planned for, and as the projects move forward, we will have plenty of public opportunity for input and review. That's been part of the process on recent park renovations, and I think it's something the city has really worked to improve at. In the case of Forest River, for instance, I can tell you, because I've been involved in the discussions and the design process for the last 2+ years, ADA accommodation has been part of the Forest River pool design from the beginning. There are renovations to the clubhouse that are designed to bring it into better compliance as that building is renovated and turned into a community room. There are accommodations to the pool. There are with ramps. There's accommodations to the splash pad is designed partly with that in mind. There are parking changes that are made that's the one project I can speak somewhat knowledgeably about because I've been involved in it. But this is the case where as these all move forward. So in this bond order, this is the overall big picture funding. And as we slice this off into individual projects, that's where the details get hashed out, and that's where the public review is.
If I may also add, that also goes back in front of Park and Rec, because Park and Rec,
Yes.
all these matters are in public parks, so they have the sounding board and where all these things get vetted out. We're looking to approve the funding source, and I will say, Councilor Turri alluded to it. The bonding rate is so low; I think it's 1.5% now.
Around that.
So if you're going to borrow money, now's the time to borrow it, and it's to borrow it now and have it available to, as these projects get in the queue and get approved, available. It's at a huge savings. So And we don't know what's going to happen with the bonding market moving forward, but right now it's where you want to be. So.
Yes, assuming that these projects all go forward over the next roughly 5 years, regardless of anything else, doing it now is something that saves the taxpayers a lot of money.
Exactly. Anyone else? Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is something that I'm absolutely in favor of. I'm a huge fan of parks and playgrounds, and quite frankly, our parks and playgrounds some of them are in great shape and some need substantial work. So these parks that we're discussing here tonight, we've been discussing for a while. We've already submitted quite a bit of funding to some of these projects. And I'm concerned with the overall cost of this and where we're going. But before I talk to that, with regard to the ADA, that is something that is law. That's something that Salem should be following. When we make these improvements, we need to make sure that we are in compliance with the ADA totally across the board. Mr. Kapandas gave a couple examples of recent projects that I guess we did not follow the law. Some of the pop-up parks and other places we haven't as well. So that's a concern that we can have an in-depth discussion on that when it gets into committee. My big concern, I'm going to be asking the mayor on this, is a little bit more detail on the cost of the $16.1 million. It's a lot of money. And I understand the interest rates are down, but it's still 16.1 to get started, plus the interest on top of that, a little bit interest. So we need to make sure that we can afford this at this time when the whole 2020, everything's upside down. So I basically going to be asking the mayor, what is the cost to the taxpayers, to our tax bills? What's the cost to the residents of Salem for this, both at the get-go and then each year after that until they're paid off on the bond? So I'm concerned about that. What I am concerned about, if we divide the vote now, unlike a zoning issue, we can't make substantial changes to that if we take a first passage and then before we get to second passage. So on this request, the Good Ward 5 councilor is asking that we vote tonight, and I'm surprised that we're voting a first passage tonight on this, which I don't know if I'm in favor of it or not, but I want to make sure that we can make changes to this before we go to a second passage for this. And just to confirm that this actually takes 2 passages, is that correct, Mr. President?
That is correct.
All bonds take 2 passages.
All bonds take 2 passages.
Okay.
And we're only approving the total. We're not approving what is going. And from my understanding, it's a bond up to $16 million. So we're going to bond for the money. And obviously, if we don't, if the decision down the road is not to utilize the money, then you can turn in the bonds.
That's right. It's $16.1 million is what we're spending here. But we've already spent quite a bit on most of these parks that were listed just now as phase 1, phase 2. I think Forest River was phase 3 or so, our last appropriation. So I'm going to be asking for more information from the mayor and ask her to share it with all the councils on this. I'd like to see a breakdown of these costs a little bit better, and which of these costs or percentage of these costs will be Salem borne, or some will be reimbursable from grant funds. And Jenna Hyde has a good handle on this, and I'm like she usually does on everything. I'm sure the information is readily available, but I'd like to hear how much will it cost the average taxpayer, and how much will our tax bills go up as a result of this? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President, so if I can address a little bit. Yes, sorry, thank you. In our backup documentation, virtually all that is answered already. The total debt load, the total debt schedule, the schedule of how much per year this would add over the next, basically over the term, and also what the schedule is for existing debt coming off of our debt load. So one of the major things that I will point out to it is, I'll cut to one point here, is the authorization is for $16.1 million over a 28-year, that's paid over 28 years. It will not be borrowed immediately, but it will be borrowed in increments over that 6-year period. The total debt with all with interest through fiscal year 2056, which is when the last of the bonds would come off the books, would be 25.4 million. That's with all the interest over the roughly 30 years. But that adds $900,000 a year overall to our debt payment schedule. But as we have money coming off, and we have a schedule of it in the documentation, but by the time that all this bonding has been done by 2026, in fiscal 2027, we have about 2.4 million total coming off of the annual bond books. So it adds a load. It does add over time, as do all bonds, but it's a combination of the timing of it from the bond market, the city's rating, our overall debt load, and the schedule at which debt is coming off to keep this to a manageable figure.
Council Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. The biggest question I had, and that I just stated, was, and I'll address it to the mayor, is how much will this cost, or how much will this increase our tax bills throughout the whole city? I'll get that question to the mayor and with some additional questions that I have, and ask her to share that with all of us before we go for a second passage. So I'll be voting in support of the first passage, but if we don't have good information, and if I feel it hurts the city, I'll go on record now saying I have no trouble switching my vote, or flip-flopping, as you might call it, and vote against this. But so I'll be supporting this tonight, but look for more information from the mayor, because unlike what the councilor from Ward 5 just said, all of my questions are not in that package. There's a lot of information in there, but the biggest one, how does it affect our tax rate or tax bills, is not in there at all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council Sergeant.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would rather see us just put it in committee. It seems like whenever we do first passage, well, first of all, the city clerk has to advertise it once and then advertise it again with the changes. So that's going to cost her some money out of her budget. But then we end up having a lot of questions before we want to vote on the first passage, questions that can be answered more in committee. This is 16 million over 28 years. And one line in here says that the mayor is authorized to take any action necessary to carry out the Signature Parks improvement program. That's a broad statement. And over 28 years, there could be many mayors. So I would rather see us just put this in committee and then bring it out and make first and second passage afterwards. But I'll yield for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I second the good councilor, a large sergeant. I think that if we have so many questions, we'd rather see it in committee, discuss it. But my question to the good councilor Ward 5, this is a time-sensitive matter that need to be voted now today. I mean, we don't vote it in the first passage right now. That affect the process in the long run.
So I can address this slightly. So bonds are not like ordinances when it comes to advertising and changes. There's nothing about the language really that is involved in that. If it's, it's passed or it's not passed, basically. It just requires for these sort of things, just like we traditionally do at budget time, and any other time we issue a bond, we have to pass it twice because simply that's the rules. As far as the timing on this, the reason there is some sensitivity to the timing is mainly because we only have one meeting in December. And then that's it until early January. And their goal is to try and have funding in place. The biggest driver in this is trying to get Forest River underway, so that and have the funding in place so you can lock in the contractor. That's really the rest of these projects aren't particularly time sensitive, but that one is. So that's also part of the reason why the capital funding was done separately a few weeks ago for the demolition, because that was extremely time sensitive. Originally, the hope was to have it all, demolition and everything else, in a single package, and with the rest of this. But it had to be broken out separately because of time, trying to get this done before the construction season ends. So the hope is that, assuming that this body passes the matter, and passes second passage in December, it means that we can start that much sooner on the reconstruction work. And that's a facility that we have been without now for 3+ years. So our hope is to have it up for next year. So it doesn't affect, to go to committee from first passage does not affect the end result at all. If we really want to tinker with some language, we can do so, and it's not really a big deal. That's just, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this bond order stuff is really just pretty much boilerplate preamble but if we want to tinker with that, we're welcome to do so.
Anyone else? Motion on the floor is to adopt by roll call vote for first passage, then send the matter back to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-post of the Committee of the Whole. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent? Councilor Sargent, I didn't hear you. You're on mute.
Yes. Thank you.
Satorio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of the adoption for first passage and then referral to, in the first passage in the bond order of $16,100,000, and then refer the matter to the Committee on Administrative and Finance co-post. We have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $21,639.80 be approved within the Retirement Stabilization Fund vacation sick leave buyback account for a school department employee.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a few of these tonight, people leaving us mainly from the school department, and I wish Mr. Kazar the best.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of the order for the sum of $21,639.80 for the be approved from the Retirement Stabilization Fund to the individual listed, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. Further motion communications from the mayor.
We have an order in the sum of $20,354.40 to be approved within the Retirement Stabilization Fund to be extended for another school department retirement buyback.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrio moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrio moves for adoption of roll call vote. Under discussion, Council Terrio.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. This is another school department retirement, and we wish Mr. Robinson all the best.
I will miss seeing him up at the high school.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Seeing no one. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez?
Yes.
Councilor Flynn?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Madore?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski?
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Terrio?
Yes.
And Councilor McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of the order in the sum of $20,354.40 to be approved for the Retirement Stabilization Fund for the individual listed, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the matter. Matter carries. Further communications to the mayor.
In order that the sum of $7,458 is hereby appropriated within capital outlay to be expended for emergency repair to the library's main elevator.
Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrell moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrell moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. If you read what happened at the library, the door does not open and close properly, and a person actually got stuck.
Yep.
So they were able to do a very short-term repair, but the unit itself needs to be replaced that runs the whole thing. So this is basically an emergency repair.
Yep. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Madore,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council Presnewski,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
and Council McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the sum of 2,000, oops, sorry. On the matter of the sum of the, did I get the right one?
Page 8, top 7458.
On the matter of the, thank you. The emergency repairs for the elevator at the library with the amount of $7,458. We have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $2,662.20 be approved within retirement stabilization fund for the retirement of a school department employee.
Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrell moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrell moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion, Council Terrell.
No real discussion. This is another employee who is retiring, and Ms. Sullivan, I wish her well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Madore,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council Presnewski,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
and Council McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the $2,662.20 for the retirement stabilization fund for vacation sick leave buyback for the individual listed. We have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the city of Salem hereby authorizes an increase in the harbor master's storage revolving fund from $50,000 to $90,100 for this fiscal year, only for the funding of the city's share of a multi-mission patrol response craft.
Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Council Terrell moves for suspension of rules. Seeing no objection, Council Terrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terrell moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion, Council Terrell.
So to keep this very brief, the harbor master has gotten a port security grant for purchasing another patrol and response vessel, a 27-footer. The bulk of that money will the bulk of that money is coming from a grant. The remainder of that would come. That's about approximately $90,000, and that comes out of the money that we're collecting for winter storage. So normally they are allowed to use $50,000 out of that in a given year. So this would be a one-year exemption to allow them to use more of it in order to fund the city's share of this vessel, which will help with safety and patrols around the harbor and give us some redundancy as well. So with the 30-foot catamaran that people are used to seeing, kind of needs some backup and support. We've had that for a while, and it needs maintenance. So,
Agreed. Anyone else? I will just say that Harbor Master McHugh and his staff are probably one of the finest harbor masters on the North Shore. Mm-hmm. And they protect our harbor in they're the only ones working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So they're the go-to on the North Shore, so especially after hours. And so I think this is well needed. So I'll be wholeheartedly supporting this.
I've seen them work in conditions that the Coast Guard hasn't been able to handle.
They do an amazing job. They really do. Anyone else? Seeing none. Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Madore,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
and Councilor McCarthy.
Yes, on the matter of the appropriation to allow the revolving fund to extend to $90,100 for this 1 year, for fiscal year 2021 only. We have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative, matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the donation for Footprint Power of $30,000 be donated for virtual training for the team and equipment upgrades for the fire department.
Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also let the record reflect that Councilor Flynn has recused himself from this.
Yep.
I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Torrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion, any discussion?
Just briefly, Mr. President, Footprint now, they are up and operational, are putting some money in to help with our training for our fire department in responding to potential issues at that site, and helping to fund the equipment and skills necessary for it. And I appreciate that they're contributing in that regard.
Agreed, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Madore,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor Presnewski,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
and Councilor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the acceptance of the donation from $30,000 from Footprint Power Station to be deposited into the city's fire department's donation fund, we have 11 members voting, we have 10 members voting, 1 member recused. And the vote is 10 in the affirmative, 1 member recused. The matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the donation from Councilor Megan Riccardi in the amount of $1,000 be contributed to the Mac Park Food Fund.
Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Torrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. Under discussion, Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't believe she needed to recuse herself, but thank you to Councilor Riccardi, who has now learned that if you don't want to get unwanted attention, the secret is to donate $999 or less. So
yes, exactly.
But to be serious, thank you very much, Councilor Riccardi. She's really done a lot of work with the Mac Park Food Farm. That's been an amazing success story in this first year of operation, and it's been a big cause for her that she's supported through her volunteer work, through her family's efforts, through recruiting friends and neighbors, and now with money as well. And I think that's incredibly generous and decent of her. And I do, on behalf of the 10 of us who are in this right now, I thank her very much.
Agreed. Anyone else? I will say, I don't think she needs to recuse herself because she doesn't have any financial interest. She already wrote the check.
Yeah.
So I even though she can abstain from the vote, but once again, Council, thank you. And obviously, this, when this matter for the Mac Park Food Farm came in front of the council, and I was there when it came in front of the Park and Rec Department. Obviously, kudos to them and to you and all the residents of Ward 6 who donated a lot of time and across the city as well to this to make this such a great success. And obviously, it's a project that's near and dear to your heart if you're willing to write a check to help them get started for next year as well. So thank you for that. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth,
Yes.
Counselor Madore,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor Krasniewski,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Torrio,
Yes.
and Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the acceptance of the donation from Megan Riccardi, the amount of $1,000 to the Mac Park Food Fund, we have 11 members voting, 11 affirmative, none negative, and that carries. Further communications to the mayor.
We have our annual order for Peas for Fees, that unpaid parking fine and donation of 2 non-perishable items or canned goods be donated to local food pantries. The civic collector shall waive from December 1st to December 23rd up to $30 in late fees.
Thank you. Council Turtle.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Council Terry moves for adoption by roll call vote. On the discussion, Council Terry.
Thank you, Mr. President. As mentioned, this is our annual Peas for Fees that we do. This, just as a caution to people, this covers late fees from the city. This does not cover registry fines and the like. So, you know, if you owe money to the state, this doesn't get you out of it. But if you owe money to the city for unpaid tickets, this is a way to get squared up and help benefit our food pantries as well. So you can bring 2 non-perishable items or canned goods to and when you're paying your bill, and when you're paying your fine to the city, and we will forgive the late fees. So I think it's a great opportunity to true up.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Counselor Flynn,
Yes.
Counselor Hapworth,
Yes.
Counselor Madore,
Yes.
Counselor Marcillo,
Yes.
Counselor Krasniewski,
Yes.
Counselor Riccardi,
Yes.
Counselor Sargent,
Yes.
Counselor Torrio,
Yes.
and Counselor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the order relative to Peas for Fees, and I guess I have to read it the right way, is provided that the city waive up to $30 in late fees and add it to the unpaid parking fine. We have 11 members voting and 11 in the affirmative, none negative. Matter carries. Further communications to the mayor.
We have an order that parking at all city-owned lots, garages, and on-street spaces shall be free of charge on certain days as follows.
Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote, but I also would like to amend this.
Council Terrio moves for adoption by roll call vote. On a discussion, Council Terrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is to allow parking around Thanksgiving weekend and for Thanksgiving weekend and Christmas weekend to be free, to encourage people to shop downtown. But we now have Sunday parking, so we would like to amend this to instead of the dates just being Thursday, November 26th, Friday, November 27th, Saturday, November 28th, and then Thursday, December 24th, Friday, December 25th, and Saturday, 26th. I would amend this to add, and I think I can just, because it's an order, we can just do it.
Yep.
I would move to amend this to add Sunday, November 29th and Sunday, December 27th to the days that parking will be free of charge.
Have a second on that?
Second it.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that in. I was looking at that and I kind of thought the same thing. So, I mean, obviously this is a thing we do every year around the holidays to try to promote people to get downtown and to, obviously not ticket anyone on the holiday itself. So.
Yeah, and also the garages are normally do charge on Sundays regardless, but we might as well just put it in with everything else. So.
Sure. Well thought out. Anyone else? So first we'll take up the amendment on Councilor Terrio's amendment, seconded by Councilor Dibble, that we add Sunday, November 29th and Sunday, December 27th to the order. We have a show of hands. Let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own, so the order is now amended. And Madam City Clerk, will you now call the roll, please?
Counselor Dibble,
Yes.
Counselor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Madore,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
and Councilor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the amended order relative to parking in city-owned lots, garages, and on-street spaces on the amended dates, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative, the matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the city purchasing agent is hereby authorized to solicit bids and lease with the approval of the mayor no more than 1/3 of the city-owned lot at 297 Bridge Street for the period of November 27th through and including December 24th for the purpose of selling Christmas trees, wreaths, and similar holiday items.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Madore moves for adoption by roll call vote. On a discussion, Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is something that we do annually to allow Christmas tree vendors to provide some holiday joy to families and sell Christmas trees at the Universal Steel lot. So really glad to see that this is still happening this year. We don't know who will come in after the typical vendor. I forget their name. I'm sorry. So hopefully someone will take up the offer this year.
Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. We anticipate that, as has been the case over the last several years, that the Ludwig family will in fact be coming back from Maine to do this again. I believe they have made most of the arrangements and need this to officially lease the space. But I look forward to getting my tree from Ludwig's again this year.
Glad to hear that.
Me too. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Councilor Dibble,
Yes.
Councilor Dominguez,
Yes.
Councilor Flynn,
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth,
Yes.
Councilor Madore,
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo,
Yes.
Councilor Kwasniewski,
Yes.
Councilor Riccardi,
Yes.
Councilor Sargent,
Councilor Sargent, you're muted.
Councilor Sargent,
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilor Torrio,
Yes.
and Councilor McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the allowing the purchase agent to authorize to solicit bids for the of the lot, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative, the matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order to authorize the mayor to amend the fiber optic network installation agreement between the city and Sci-Fi Networks to allow a change in the security deposit section.
Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll call vote.
Councilor Madore moves for adoption by roll call vote. On the discussion, Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just to accommodate some of the delay caused by the pandemic so that this bond order can allow the work to move forward without further delay.
Thank you. Councilor Torrio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been in the meetings to review this, and it's a net zero change to how they provide the performance bond for. They may just deposit money directly with the city for that. Also, I'll note on this project that there has been progress forward. They are doing their test trenches on Jackson Street right now, right near the Good Ward 3 councilor's house. There have been large groups of people overseeing the tiny little trenches that they're cutting into the ground and testing materials. So the engineering side of it's been working out actually quite well. And from the city permitting side, they should be in during the month of December to do the bulk of their street permitting with the various boards in the engineering department. So this is finally moving forward after a lot of delay.
That'll be good to hear, especially with people who don't like our cable provider. Councilor Dominguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. For my own clarification, I want to ask a question to the good Councilor were to, the amendment that we requested that Mayor asking for had to do with the whole audio, just only because of the pandemic time frame, had to do with the negotiation itself. You hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Council Madore.
Mr. President, I believe this is just a change in way we receive the deposit. Perhaps Councilor from Ward 5 could further clarify.
Yep, we'll let Councilor Terrio, who is actually on the commission that deals with these issues, we'll let Councilor Terrio answer this question if he can, please.
Thank you. The original arrangement was that that Sci-Fi would be obtaining a bond. Instead, they're just depositing a lump of cash with the city to cover their performance guarantee, rather than going out and getting a bond specifically for it.
Okay, so nothing changed, no major change other than that.
No material changes to any of the financial terms. The city isn't spending any money. In fact, the city is going to be holding on to their money. And the only things that are being discussed right now that are engineering level changes and issues that are coming up in terms of materials and all the like, and that's not covered within the contract. That's not within our purview. That's within the purview of engineering to make sure that the streets are done right and everything else. So those are things that are being settled in the engineering side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble,
Yes.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Madore,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council Prosnewski,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
and Council McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of the order relative to the mayor authorizing and executing on behalf of the city, the security deposit in $500,000, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Mayor's informational page, already did that one. We're on page 13 now, motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Madore.
Mr. President, City of Salem, November 19, 2020, City Council in the year 2020, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time is hereby amended by repealing the following. Repeal cross street in front of number 3 cross street for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking only, tow zone time 11/21/19. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. And I move for adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
Council Madore moves for passage by first passage by roll call vote. On the discussion, Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. This was put in place when a resident in front of this location who's living at this location needed it because he was very ill and he has since passed away and is no longer needed. So we are repealing the space.
Sorry to hear that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Council Dibble,
Yes.
Thank you.
Council Dominguez,
Yes.
Council Flynn,
Yes.
Council Hapworth,
Yes.
Council Madore,
Yes.
Council Marcillo,
Yes.
Council Prosnewski,
Yes.
Council Riccardi,
Yes.
Council Sargent,
Yes.
Council Torrio,
Yes.
and Council McCarthy.
Yes. On the matter of first passage of an ordinance relative to traffic, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe this next order is for Council Marcillo.
So Ms. Lowell.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the year 2020, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 50B. Be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, amending Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones, limited time is hereby amended by repealing the following. Repeal Hawthorne Street in front of number 76, starting at a point 24 feet southeast of the driveway at 76 Hawthorne Street, running northeast for 20 feet. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. And I move for adoption for first passage by roll call vote.
Councilor Masilla moves for adoption for first pass by roll call vote. Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. The resident who requested this had to move because of his handicap, and so no longer needs it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble?
Yeah.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Hapworth?
Yes.
Council Madore?
Yes.
Council Marcillo?
Yes.
Council Presnowski?
Yes.
Council Riccardi?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Correo?
Yes.
Council McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Further motions, orders, resolutions. Council Sargent.
Yes. What's going on? Thank you, Mr. President. An ordinance to amend an ordinance related to traffic, Chapter 42, Section 75, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Section 75 of Article B-A be amended by adding the following. Hawthorne Boulevard, Zone A, color blue, number 24 Hawthorne Boulevard to be included to obtain resident sticker parking permits, but no guest passes shall be issued. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter. Under discussion, Mr. President. So I moved adoption for first passage by roll call vote. Sorry.
Thank you. Councilor Sargent moves for adoption of first pass by roll call vote. Thank you for taking that. I would have read it myself if we flip seats, but it's fine. That's fine. This was we just recently changed some of the parking along Hawthorne Boulevard and Little Hawthorne Boulevard, and relative to a whole bunch of different things. And this one address got lost in the mix, so they met with the Parking and Traffic Commission, and Lieutenant Tucker reached out to me on this one, and we're going to allow this to move forward as it was just described by Council Sargent. So I would agree to the adoption for first passage by roll call vote. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Hapworth?
Yes.
Council Madore?
Yes.
Council Marcillo?
Yes.
Council Presnowski?
Yes.
Council Riccardi?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Correo?
Yes.
And Council McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, Section 4275, the adding of a residence to the resident sticker parking zone, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Madore.
Yes, I ask for a point of personal privilege, please.
Okay, well, I know Councilor Madore has another motion or order or resolution. Do you want to let her go first, or do you?
I'll yield. Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm submitting a late file.
Yep.
City of Salem, Salem City Council, November 19, 2020, ordered that the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs meet to discuss an ordinance relative to public guides, Chapter 40, Section 40-30, Prohibition, Subsection 8, utilize a voice amplification device on Brown Street, Howard Street, Brown Street Court, Kimball Court, or Higginson Square. Amend to add alleyway between 93 Washington Street and 99 Washington Street. I move for adoption by roll call vote. Or No roll call, just,
No, it goes to committee.
Go to committee.
okay.
On Council Mador's motion that this matter go to committee, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter goes to committee. Any further late files? I know Council Mador reached out to me with that one. Okay, Councilor Dibble, matter of personal privilege.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to thank the Ward 4 Council for bringing it forward and having a moment of silence earlier for Mrs. O'Leary. I had many conversations with her years ago and her husband. They were friends of mine. But we also lost somebody else. I lost a good friend, Larry McIntyre. In fact, all of Salem lost a good friend in Larry McIntyre. For more than 40 years, he helped everybody involved in basketball throughout the whole state of Massachusetts. He was a bigwig in basketball, from the college level to high school level, refereeing to recreation leagues. He brought in professionals here to the city of Salem, had an interact with the public. But I can speak in a different level rather than just basketball with him. I had the privilege of working with him for some 14 years while he was the Park and Recreation Director, and before that, just the Recreation Director. But my heart goes out to his family, his wife Doris, and his awesome children. So I respectfully ask for a moment of silence for a true gentleman, Larry McIntyre, and a true loss for the city of Salem as a whole. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Committee reports.
Do you have it to read, Council Mador?
Council Mador.
Just waiting to be called on. Thank you, Mr.
All right. I knew someone was supposed to be reading something.
I'm just bringing it up real quick. City of Salem City Council, November 19, 2020, Committee on Ordinances, License, Legal Affairs, composed of a committee of the whole, to whom was referred the matter of declaring parcel 1 of 413 Essex Street surplus, and that the parcel be advertised for a sealed bid, has considered said matter and would recommend adoption by roll call vote.
On acceptance of report, all those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect. I saw 10 hands plus my own. On adoption of the recommendation, on the discussion, Council Mador.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee met it's a while ago now, and we were joined by Dr. Ken Torosinski, the chiropractor who was in the butter to the property, and he had an interest in purchasing this very small sliver of property next to the fire station to clean it up and provide additional parking spaces for his tenants who are primarily low-income households who hold housing vouchers. So he's always been concerned about the unkempt condition of the parcel. So he had approached the city with an interest to purchase, and we are following the land disposition process as required by our ordinance, and it's been signed off by the planning department, the building department, and I believe the appraisal has been completed, so it will go out to bid once this is adopted.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk.
Council Dibble?
Yes.
Council Dominguez?
Yes.
Council Flynn?
Yes.
Council Hapworth?
Yes.
Council Mador?
Yes.
Council Marcillo?
Yes.
Council Prosnewski?
Yes.
Council Riccardi?
Yes.
Council Sargent?
Yes.
Council Torrio?
Yes.
And Council McCarthy?
Yes. On the matter of declaring the parcel 1 of 413 Essex Street surplus, and the parcel will be advertised and sealed bid, we have 11 members voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Matter carries. And other committee reports, petitions.
We have a petition from National Grid to install 2 jointly owned poles, one on Ferry Street and one on Waite Street.
Hearing ordered December 3rd, 2020. Further petitions.
We have a petition from Comcast to install underground conduits for work to be done on Bridge Street to include conduits on Osgood and Ferry Street.
Hearing order December 3rd, 2020. Further petitions.
We have one taxi operator license application.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be granted.
Council Madore moves this be granted. Under discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. Further petitions.
We have a request from a taxi operator on the denial of his license.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session if necessary.
Council Madore moves that this matter be referred to the Committee on License and Legal Affairs to hold an executive session if necessary. All those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. Further petitions.
We have one drain layer contract operator license application.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be granted.
Council Madore moves this be granted. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. Further petitions.
We have a list of claims.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License and Legal Affairs.
Council Madore moves that these matters be referred to the Committee on License and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. Further petitions.
We have one drain layer bond.
Council Madore.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License and Legal Affairs and return approved.
Council Madore moves this matter be referred to the Committee on License and Legal Affairs and return approved. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mr. President?
I'm sorry. Council Madore, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to check in with Madam City Clerk on whether additional bonds need to be signed because we're all kind of out of office. So if there's a buildup of it, please let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. On the matter of the bond that we were just talking about, we have all those in favor? All those opposed, let the record reflect I saw 10 hands plus my own. Unfinished business, none. Anyone else? Councilor Masillo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to take a few minutes to thank the city clerk, her staff, all the volunteers that spent countless days and hours working on the general election, which then got extended to an audit of one of the precincts, which is just the way things go. But it's amazing. It's amazing how much work had to be done and was done to make that election come off without a hitch. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I would also just like to take a brief second and first of all wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, even though it's going to be probably one of the strangest Thanksgivings any of us are going to experience. And I also want to thank all my fellow colleagues. I put out a letter earlier this month relative to donations. My wife works down, as all of you know, works down at the COA, and I just want to comment, Rosanna Donahue and her staff, and the head of the I don't want to quote a number that's wrong, but I want to say the request for meals for Thanksgiving has just hit 300. So 300 of our seniors are either have no place to go, or unfortunately their family can't come to see them, or they're in a circumstance where they need a meal. And I think that also reflects on, some of our restaurants that would be offering meals during the Thanksgiving season aren't doing them. So there's been a large uptick in requests. And I want to thank everyone who made a donation to make that possible, because I think it's, it's extremely important that, we recognize the fact that as was stated earlier by the mayor, this pandemic has infected so many people in so many different ways. And now that, you're seeing, as she alluded to, you're seeing an uptick in people who have, mental health issues and whatnot. And it just runs the gamut across the whole spectrum. But when it comes to our seniors who are basically as was stated, one of the most vulnerable populations. And to have this, some sort of mechanism, services out there that we can, provide them with, a nice meal. I think Brothers Taverina is cooking the meals, and I think they're, like I said, I want to say the number's up around 300. Don't quote me. To get a quote from them tomorrow if someone's really interested in the exact number. I will say they were also, I think they filled all the slots, but we'll be volunteering this Thanksgiving morning. No football game, so I will be with my boys in one of our vehicles, traveling around delivering some of those meals because they were looking for volunteers to deliver them as well. So I think, anyone, and sometimes it's not a scene that's on the list. Just want everyone to take a brief second and also think about, the neighbor right next door, the neighbor just down the street that, maybe take a brief second and just, maybe knock on their door on Thanksgiving and maybe drop something off or something, if they feel that they might need something, because it's really important that we reach out to people during these times, because this is when really people get affected, is when during the holidays, when typically they are with family and friends and they can't be this year. So, but I wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. I will miss seeing Councilor Sargent at the football game. Unfortunately, we won't be there. Or maybe we'll get one in the spring. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll do a Valentine's Day game against Beverly or something. I'm not really sure, but it'll be a weird day for sure. So, but I think that I hope everyone makes the best of it as best they can. And seriously, everyone be safe. And thank you, Councilor Sargent.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick points. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and I'll miss you at the game also. Your former high school seems to have done better than my former high school in recent years, but we're good cousins. Just a quick goodbye to, when I first come on the city council, I heard the term the 12th councilor, and I was wondering who that was because we only have 11 councilors, and I soon realized that was Mary O'Leary. She was very knowledgeable, and everybody referred to her as the 12th councilor, and I don't think there'll ever be another 12th councilor again. And also, thank you for the life of Larry McIntyre. I don't think there'll ever be another man like him. I mean, he was there for the youth of Salem for 50 years that I know of. I mean, from the time I first put on a Little League uniform, he was there, and all the way through high school and beyond, and for the children that came after us. So I don't know if there'll ever be another man who will affect the youth of Salem and their lives, and just the example that he set helped a lot of young children have a better life. And in his work, I don't think he probably never got paid enough for the amount of hours he put into things. So thank you to Larry, and God bless his family and Mary's family. And with that, I'll move for adjournment.
Councilor Sargent moves for adjournment. All is in favor? All is opposed? We stand adjourned. Have a good night.